You are on the Sticks for Stones podcast. My name's Kai, and on the phone today, someone you might have known as the guy in front of 3 Days Grace for about 20 years, but since then he's gone off, he's done his solo stuff, and he's come back with a new record, teaming up with some pretty good musos as well. The project is called Saint Asonia, and they're just about to release their debut album, and from that act, I've got Adam Gontier. Adam, welcome, mate.
Thank you very much, man. Nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, no worries at all, Adam. Now, it's only a few days until Saint Asonia is dropping their debut album. Now, after working in the music industry for, like I said just before, over 20 years, do you still get nervous when new material comes out?
I wouldn't say... I don't think I get nervous as much as just sort of excited. It's definitely a record that I'm proud of, and the guys are really proud of. So I think it's more excitement than nerves, for sure.
Yeah, well, how was this time different, working with a whole different group of people and, blending ideas and, working with a different band compared to, say, back in the day working with 3 Days Grace? Was it a totally different creative process?
The process was definitely different. I think this time around, creatively, there was quite a bit more freedom, I would say, for myself. Writing lyrics and melodies and stuff like that. There wasn't a lot of filters that they had to go through. Before it was everything was sort of filtered through a lot of different people, and this time around it was myself and Mike Mushak getting into the studio, laying down and recording the parts we had, and most of the lyrics and melodies are all ideas that just came to me on the fly and in the studio. So this time around, I just didn't overthink things too much, and we didn't try too hard to be too shiny or too polished. It's just very raw and very organic.
Yeah, well, kind of rebooting your career with this one, like it is a brand new band releasing their debut album. Have you enjoyed being able to kind of reboot the creative process and go in a different direction than what you have done in the past? Yeah,
for sure. It's always nice when you evolving as a musician or an artist in any way is always really gratifying. So this Saint Asonia record and this band, it's definitely a milestone for me. I believe it's the best record that I've made so far to date, and I'm just really excited and proud and happy to be a part of this.
Yeah, well, it was actually Mike, the guitarist, who put the whole project together, and I do believe he approached you. What was your first reaction when he came up to you and said, "Hey, man, I want to start up a new project. You keen?" Like, were you kind of taken back at first, or excitement kicked in straight away?
Well, I've known Mike for years. We had done some tours together, so we kind of knew each other just from touring and doing shows and stuff like that. But yeah, he called me and asked if I'd be interested in writing some songs, and we didn't really have the intention of necessarily making a record or creating a band or anything like that. We just wanted to get together, basically just to hang out and write, and it just ended up going really well. So, here we are about a year and a half later with a full record done and in a band, and it's amazing. I'm just it's such a great spot to be in, and I'm really thankful to be in this position. Yeah,
well, it's been about 2 or 3 years since you did the 3 Days Grace, and after the departure, you started a solo career. Now, did you ever think that you'd join a band again, or was that part of the plan at all?
I didn't really have much of a plan of necessarily joining a band, or I always knew I was going to play music, and I wasn't going to stop playing music. It was just a matter of whether I was going to do it on my own, or whether the right opportunity would come along someday. And yeah, I took some time to just lay low and relax, and eventually the right opportunity did present itself. So I did do some solo stuff. Shortly after I left 3 Days Grace, but after that I took a break, and then Mike called me, and here we are.
Awesome, it's now a part of your musical history. Now, going back to when you first stepped 3 Days Grace and you were doing a bit of solo work, we were always waiting on a debut, Adam Gontier solo album. I know you haven't even released this album yet, but is that still the plan, to release a full-length solo record?
You know what? I've really got I have a lot of songs and a lot of material. I've got so many songs I've written over the years that eventually, one day, someday, maybe just an acoustic solo record. I might do something like that. But yeah, like you said, right now it's just, all my focus is on the new band, and I think for all of us, we're all pretty much focused on this band, and we're not interested in just putting out one record and sort of disappearing. We're here for the long haul, and Saint Asonia is not going away anytime soon. So
yeah, well, you guys did do a pretty big, coming out party. Your first ever performance as Saint Asonia was at Rock on the Range in the States, to a massive crowd. I saw some of the footage of it. Now, how was it? You guys didn't really do any warm-up gigs, and no one knew who you were. How was the feeling, having thousands of people with such a strong reaction to songs they haven't really heard yet?
It was really great. It was amazing. There was roughly 10 to 15,000 people there at noon on the Saturday, and we were the first band on. So I don't think at first people didn't really know who we were. I think it took a couple songs for people to sort of realize who we were and that sort of thing. And then, by the end of the set, by the last couple songs of the set, the crowd reaction was incredible. People were going crazy and loving the music. So it was probably, Rock on the Range, one of the best, the premier rock radio festivals in the U.S. And definitely couldn't ask for a better place to launch the new band.
Yeah, well, did you guys do any kind of secret shows leading up to that to kind of hone your skills as a live act together, or did you pretty much go into that performance blind?
No, we pretty much went into it blind. We got together, I'd say maybe, like a week before that. We all knew the music really well, so it just, we got together, well, I'd say for a couple weeks before that show, and we hung out for 2 weeks, and we rehearsed and just went over the live show together. And by the time we got to Columbus to do the Rock on the Range show, it was all pretty natural. We all knew what we were doing. We were all just, we were just ready to hit the stage. And once we did, it was the adrenaline kicked in, and it was a blast.
Yeah, well, you guys are all seasoned professionals, and it was just announced that you are heading out on tour with Safer as the main support all through the States over the next month or so. What can people expect from these live shows? Is it going to be all Saint Asonia material, or are you going to slip in a few covers? What can fans expect?
Well, we're definitely focused on playing the Saint Asonia stuff and the Saint Asonia record. And at the same time, sure, we've got Mike has a history with Stained, and I've got a history with 3 Days Grace. So I think we might end up pulling out a couple of those old songs as well that we've written in the past. So, but it's going to be. I think every show is going to be different. The cool thing about this band is that every member of this group is quite the character on stage, and we've all got our own things and things that we do live. So it's a pretty intense show, and everybody's got their own thing, and it's we just give it everything we've got. And it's a really cool, intense live show. So I'm just stoked to get out there and start playing.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Now, when can fans expect you to rise in your widen your tour plans to overseas, like Europe, and hopefully down under to Australia. When can we expect you guys to do a world tour?
Well, we're working on it for sure. The plan is right now just to start in August, in October in the U.S., and the plan is definitely to get overseas and especially to Australia. So, that's something that we're working on right now, and it's something that we all want to do and would love to do as soon as we can, sooner than later. So, I'm sure we're going to see you guys in Australia very, very soon.
Awesome. Well, I'll get the rumour mill starting now, Adam. And on that note, Saint Asonia's debut album is out at the end of the week. And Adam, thank you so much for your time today, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Of course, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, and appreciate all the support.